clearing close in the forest you'll find a fabulous banquet, a fairy ball. If you close your eyes and you open your mind, the veil disappears and you'll see it all.
Hi my angels, it's Hailey Reese, and today I am coming back with yet another terrifying, spooky, but yet intriguing story for you guys. I feel like it's been a little while since I've read an absolutely terrifying story to you guys, and as I was digging through Reddit, I hope that's how you pronounce it, I mean I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm like notorious for butchering things on my channel as far as pronunciation goes. But as I was browsing through there, I came across a story that I read the first few sentences of, and I was like, okay, this could be really spooky. And what I really like about this story is that it's like a series, it's a continuous. So we could make this into a 2-part, 3-part, 4-part video if you guys enjoy this story, if it scares us, and if we maybe want to see more. This is on the no sleep section of Reddit, and that section tends to be the one that really gets to me when I go through different stories and things like that. So today we are going to read part 1 of There Is Something Very Strange Going On with My Wife. So without further ado, let's get into this spooky story. Sit back, relax, maybe turn a light on, and here we go. This is my first post on no sleep, but I feel you guys should know about this. If you want to get to the meat of the story, you can skip ahead to the 4th paragraph. Growing up, I always feared monsters. Even in college, which most would consider to be the time when you can be called an adult, my greatest fears were the monsters under my bed, in the closet, or at the window. I would always tell myself how silly this was, seeing as I was an adult at this point, and I was still afraid of something I knew did not exist. Or does it? That was until I met my wife. Before I tell you what happened, let me elaborate on how I met my wife to be and how much she means to me. I met Natalie in college. I was a nerdy guy, yet she saw something in me that no other girl in my life had. She was an extremely kind person who always had the sweetest of intentions. As I spent more time with her, I realized how many things we had in common. To me, she was the most beautiful girl in the whole world. I could stare into her green eyes for the rest of my life. And that's what I chose to do when I proposed and we finally got married. Fast forward to married life. I'm working now while she is working on an online master's degree. Life is good. Life is actually perfect. Too perfect. Ever since we got married, I've told her everything. My deepest secrets, my deepest feelings, and most importantly, my deepest fears. I remember when I told her about my silly fear of monsters. At first she laughed it off, but over time, she noticed how I would sometimes shiver in bed, lying awake in fear. Being the sweetheart she is, she would hold me and tell me it would be all right. My wife became my protector. She became the one to keep my fears in check. Her face became that of an angel to me, one that would protect me from whatever scary thing life had in store for me. I came to trust those beautiful green eyes, and every time I saw her, I knew I was safe. Now to the more weird things that have been happening of late. The first incident that I can recall that could be defined as strange happened at 3 a.m. one night. I woke up feeling extremely thirsty, and being the fearful guy that I am, grabbed the flashlight to go get some water. As soon as I turned on the flashlight, I noticed my wife wasn't in bed. I looked over to the bathroom and the light was on, and I could hear the water running, so I assumed she was in there. Half asleep, I walked downstairs to the kitchen and almost had a heart attack when I saw my wife standing in the corner drinking water. As soon as I saw her though, I felt safe. She smiled at me as she sipped the water from the glass. I was too tired and I mumbled something about how hot it is as I got some water. She continued to smile at me as I finished my water and headed upstairs. As I walked back upstairs, I called out that she should come back to bed, seeing as it's so late. When I got to my room, there she was, sound asleep. This was the moment I became wide awake. I could have sworn she was downstairs having water. Afraid to go back downstairs, I woke her up and told her what happened. Half asleep, half upset, she comforted me and told me to go back to bed. The next morning, she joked about how I'm so afraid of the dark that I see her everywhere as my protector. Besides, I was using the bathroom when you thought I was out of bed, she claimed, with that warm smile. How could I think otherwise? A week later, another strange incident. This was in broad daylight while on a Saturday morning. Natalie woke me up at 11 and told me she was going to get groceries. At 11:30, I got out of bed and got dressed for a late brunch with my beautiful wife. I went to the kitchen and found her drinking a glass of water. I smiled and I said, "Back so soon, honey?" She didn't reply, just smiled as she sipped on her water. Before I could approach her, the doorbell rang. I immediately went to see who it was. I opened the door, and yes, it was my wife, back with all the groceries. What? "Oh, help me with all of this, will you?" She jokingly snapped as she put down the paper bags by the door. As soon as she saw my color-drained face, she knew something was wrong. She sat me down, got me some water, and I told her what happened. This time, it was in broad daylight, and I knew what I saw. As much as I had come to adore her beautiful green eyes, for the first time, I saw them in a strange fear. My wife was a strong one, never afraid. She told me there is something she should have told me a long time ago. Uh-oh. She said this happened to her as a kid, a lot. When her parents and siblings would see her in places they knew she wasn't. They could never explain these occurrences, but seeing as it caused no harm, they came to live with it without really questioning these encounters. It took me a few months to process everything she had told me, but I started to live with it also. Like I said, my true perception of fear was monsters, not my beautiful wife. Several similar incidents happened. For instance, I would see her sitting in bed, only to find her cooking in the kitchen downstairs. And in all these instances, when I would interact with this entity that I still saw as my wife, she would smile and not say anything. I actually came to find comfort in seeing my wife all the time, always smiling, always happy, and always perfect. It is important to note, however, that in all of these incidents, there was never any overlap, meaning I never saw her in two places simultaneously. I guess any sane person would have called out to their wife when they thought they were seeing the entity, but like I said, I found comfort in her green eyes, in her smiling face, so honestly, I didn't really care. Then today, everything changed. My wife told me she was going to visit her grandparents who live an hour from where we do. She invited me to go, but seeing as it was a Sunday and I wanted to be lazy, I told her to go ahead without me. This is when it finally happened. The overlap. I was in the living room watching TV when I got up to get myself a Coke. There she was, my wife again, sipping water from the glass and just smiling. I was so used to it by now. Knowing that this was the entity, I smiled and said, "And it is nice to see you are still watching over me." She smiled and continued to look at me with those beautiful green eyes I had grown so fond of. That's when the phone rang. I turned away from the entity to pick it up. "Hey sweetie, I'm gonna run a little late since Granny insists on me staying for lunch." It was my wife. And as soon as I heard the voice, I heard a glass shatter, which my wife on the phone also heard. I turned around and saw that the entity was now glaring at me, the smile no longer there, but rather a very disturbing grin. She was pointing at me, with her head tilted at a perfect 90-degree angle. Is that not what like horror films are made of? Like that? Oh, I don't even want to do it. Like so creepy. Okay, let's continue. But that wasn't what disturbed me. It was her eyes. They were no longer the green I found so much comfort in. They were pitch black, like those demons in the movies. I stared at her as I was at a complete loss of words. "Honey, is everything okay? Did you drop something?" my wife asked on the phone. I whispered back into the phone, "I didn't. She did." At this point, my wife screamed into the phone, "Hang up and look away! Hang up and look away!" I don't know how I found the strength to do so, but I did exactly what she said. When I opened my eyes a split second later, she was gone. Confused and scared, I called back to my wife, who said she was already on the way. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have overlapped. They said it wouldn't. They said she was harmless. Okay, who's they? And what do they mean it shouldn't have happened? I don't know, that's so creepy. Let's keep going, it's almost done. I am too scared to just sit around and wait. I still keep looking over my shoulder. My wife should be home any time now. As soon as she gets back, I will ask her who she meant by they and what the hell is going on. She knows something and I have to know what it is. Never did I think that the one I hold so near and dear to my heart, the one who protects me, could become the monster that I fear the most. P.S. If enough of you are interested, I will continue my story and update when I find out more information. and that is where it would lead us into part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but that whole entire story has me so intrigued. I really want to go ahead and read part 2, but I'm not going to do that without you guys because we're in this together now. So if you guys are interested in me reading part 2 here on my channel, go ahead, drop that comment down below. We can continue it tomorrow and then we can keep going on. And we could even like put part 2 and 3 in one and then 4 and 5 in the other, so it's only a 3-part video. But I just need to know what's gonna happen. At this point, I don't really know what to think of it. Is it an evil demon? Is it an evil twin? Is it something attached to her? Is it a skinwalker? Like, what on earth is this thing? What's gonna happen now that they have overlapped? I am like in complete shock of where that turned. I think that it's such an intriguing storyline, and I don't know, I really wanna know what happens next. So hopefully you guys do too, so we can read it together. But if not, I'm definitely gonna figure out what happens next because I need to know what in the world Natalie is hiding from him and who they are. Also, why they said she's harmless and now Natalie feels she is no longer harmless. I think Natalie is hiding more than she's letting on right now, so I don't know. Well, you guys, what did you think of today's story? Please take a moment right now, if you have not already. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you want to see the sequels to this story right here. Let me know your thoughts on the story. Did it spook you? Were you expecting that? What do you guys think is going on? And do you think Natalie is hiding more than she's letting on right now? I definitely do, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think, and I love to read through your comments, so please go ahead. Like I said, drop a comment down below. I'll be replying to a whole bunch of you, and hopefully we'll figure out what happens next together in a part 2 to this. I just want to take a moment right now and just let you guys know once again for the millionth, billionth time how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you, especially those of you who take the time to watch my videos every time that I upload, who have their post notifications on and are just really involved and engaged in this channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. You make my life a million times greater than it would be without you, and I am so eternally grateful. So I just love you guys so much. If you're new to my channel or you're just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my videos, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, if you did enjoy today's video, please give it a big thumbs up because that just makes my heart really, really super happy, and I appreciate it so much, and it just means a lot to know that you guys enjoy my content. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you.